Hi, welcome to Republican Roundtable. I'm your host, Jen Zielinski, and we are deep in the 2024 election season. With us today, we have candidate Mary Holmberg running in Minneapolis. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and how's your race going?
It's going great. We've got a lot of momentum in Minneapolis. We're outdoor knocking. We're firing up our base.
And probably one of the hardest districts to campaign in as a Republican.
Yes, we're doing something new this year. You may have heard about the Republican Party in Minneapolis has retooled itself in the last year and a half. And so we've got some new avenues to
kind of pursue there.
Yes.
Mary, first tell us about yourself.
Well, actually, I am just selling a house in Bloomington, and I've lived in the northeast section of Minneapolis in 60A for 12 years.
Okay.
And I was never involved in politics until 2020, thanks to our good mayor and good Governor Walz and the riots of 2020. And it was just one of those times when a lot of people got involved or thought they should because things were so dire, but it just really came to the head in 2020. So I ran then, and I'm running now. We've had a candidate for 3 cycles now in 60A. So we're hoping to make a little bit of progress and have a presence in Minneapolis.
That's great, because I think we need that second voice, not just a Democrat voice or a progressive voice. We need a good Republican conservative voice.
Yes.
What are some of the platform issues that you're bringing up with voters as you door knock, as you campaign?
Sure. The main one is education in Minneapolis and the state of it. We've just seen, I think, an article in Alpha News today or so. It's not too good in Minneapolis as far as results. And whether we do health savings accounts or some other form of money transfer for individual families to be able to make a choice, I don't know which would be the solution, but status quo is really not working. And I'm very much in favor of making a big change there. Of course, it will be quite a hard battle, but I think more and more as people see what they're getting in the schools, not to take anything away from the hardworking teachers on the ground, but good money after really poor results has to stop in the state.
Absolutely. And what are you hearing from voters as you bring up education? What are they telling you?
That there's too much talk about social issues that aren't, in the opinion of a lot of people, the purview of public schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're not getting to the nuts and bolts of education.
Well, there's no reading, math results to brag about, certainly if 60% of the schools aren't performing at grade level. So
60%.
That's what the Alpha article, I believe, said.
Okay, so we're not even seeing kids reach like the bare minimum at this point.
Right.
And are you hearing something from parents how they are moving out of schools or?
Well, a lot of them are frustrated right now because they can't afford to.
Okay.
Which is what I would like to address, because obviously the people that can afford to have left if they weren't satisfied. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So yeah, it's everyone else.
So getting that choice back into the parents' hands would really help.
Sure. That's what I would definitely advocate.
And teachers union, did they give pushback on this or?
I would expect a lot of pushback on this, yes. Which brings me to another concern about all of the expanded spending over in St. Paul and all the schools that are now belt tightening. So I'm not sure where the disconnect is there, but the money is going somewhere.
And what are some other platforms, issues that you are running on as you're talking to voters?
Well, another one would be I'm in favor of expanding and definitely addressing mining opportunities in the state. If the metals that are used in our modern conveniences are used in the state, we shouldn't be above mining them in the state. I mean, I think several people that I know have seen the pictures of what a mine looks like in some parts of Africa or China, and certainly we would have better oversight of mining practices if it was done in our own backyard. So I would definitely support improving the conditions for expanding that.
Mining, okay.
Right.
And then, you know, one thing we see in St. Paul coming out of the Capitol, we see that overtaxing our people. Do you think that money is being spent well by our legislatures?
I would say it is not.
Okay.
I mean, for the simple fact that all we see is the fraud, and if we're being overtaxed, well, let's say this, if the fraud is not addressed, no amount of taxation can really make any sense here at all, because we're obviously being grossly overtaxed if that much fraud can go undetected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're just, it's not being, you know, taken care of. People are getting away with it. And these are our hard-earned tax dollars.
Right, and there seems to be, well, I think if we remember back to the auditor's race in 22.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah.
Yes, the current auditor doesn't seem to have a whole lot of interest in addressing oversight issues and, you know, really getting into making sure the money goes where it's apparently intended. So whether that's through incompetence or inattention, I don't know. I would tend to say it's probably on purpose, but either way, it needs to be stopped.
We're not hearing out of that office for anything.
Right, right.
Mary, where is, I want to keep on to say Senate District, but House District 60A? Where is that located?
Okay, 60A is roughly in the northeast part of Minneapolis, north of the Broadway
Okay.
Avenue there, and south of like 31st,
Okay.
between the river and to the west. I'm not sure exactly where it ends to the east, but yeah.
That
it's generally
northeast
the
corner.
north, yeah.
Okay. And does it cover the U of M at all, or is that?
It does not cover the U of M. That's the south half of the district, 60B.
Okay. And then as we wrap up our segment here, are there any last comments, any last thoughts you want to convey to voters?
Sure, I would convey that Republicans exist in Minneapolis, and we have really come a long way in the last year and a half since we were able to reorganize. And we're out there, we're getting stronger every month. So just support us, get out and vote.
So that Republican train is just moving along.
Yeah, we're making some ground. Yep, we're making up some ground.
Good. And you see some good results coming up here?
Well, we're hoping so. We're working hard.
That's all you can do up until Election Day.
Yep.
How can any voters or viewers get a hold of you?
Sure, my website is maryholmberg.com.
Okay.
And all my information is there.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being on our show.
Well, thank you for having me, Jen.
Thank you for joining us on Republican Roundtable, and we'll see you next time.